Friday, 17th of November 2025. This evening's show we go over Evo's first league defeat as the Pool crashed to defeat at Gary Bowyer's Burton on Saturday. A match with an encouraging start but petered out as we don't have an answer to break down Burton's spoiling tactics even. They weren't boiling, despite having numerous good chances to get something from the game. I'm John Aspinall and this is Seaside's podcast match reaction show. Burton 1, Blackpool, unfortunately, 0. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Seaside's podcast on Monday, slightly later, 8:30. On the panel this evening, Tom and Andy. Nick's having a night off. No sign of Sir Tom folding. I'm sure he's just coming back from some far-flung trip. But Tom, good to see you standing in for the number one media whore, and you have officially taken his mantle on Radio Lancashire with some fine performances on there recently.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been on Radio Lancs a couple of times recently. Keeping the toe in, got to keep yourself regular. But yeah. Obviously, we had plenty to shout about last few weeks, but sadly not the case on Saturday.
Absolutely not. Andy, welcome back. Welcome back to the Grice Reaper. Andy, you and I went to Burton, and as I was saying to you on text, I amusingly went past Grice's funeral parlour on a small little village through to Burton on the way. I did also notice, Andy, you initially predicted for a defeat for the Burton game, but it changed before kickoff to a win. Do tell.
A draw, I think I went for.
Was it a draw you went for originally? But you changed it to a win, didn't you?
So no, it was a loss. I predicted a loss for about 10 games in a drop. Just but I got sucked in, by Evo's revolution. But like, in all honesty, I probably expected a draw.
Well,
feared a loss and wanted a win.
It's always the case. Everyone gets the hopes up. Everyone was predicting win in the prediction. Like, everyone was cock a hoop. Big following. Lots of people going to Burton. And it all fell a bit flat. However, the start of the game was quite positive, Andy, but let's just discuss the starting lineup before we go on to the game. Shift us all over a bit there. Tom, let's come to your thoughts first on this. Ravizoli in net. Obviously, Peacock Farrell's away on international duty, making flaps for Northern Ireland. Hopefully he's got that out of his system. A back three centre-halves, Casey, Horsfall, Ihekwei, CJ right wing back, Ashworth left wing back, Ollie was a left back. Now let's look at this central midfield: Honeyman, Brown, and Evans. Fot Mob have got Evans as the front of the three, which is a bit debatable, and Fletcher and Bloxham up front. So Tom, first thoughts when you saw that? See if they mirror mine, and I'm sure Andy feels the same as me.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I thought it was a decent squad, a decent side. Obviously, the attention then draws to Evans, doesn't it? Where you might have expected Hansen to be in that number 10 spot with Brown in front of the back 3 or 5. So Evans coming back in was the surprise, I suppose. And Evans and Hamilton get the stick at the moment. There's always one Blackpool player who gets all the stick, and at the moment it's CJ Hamilton, rightly or wrongly. But yeah, he was making his 200th start, wasn't he? So I thought it was quite an attacking side to an extent. You know, we got Hamilton on one side, so you've kind of got your 3 or 4 attacking players, maybe 5 or 6 really. But yeah, Evans the standout of potentially not being our strongest 11 that we have available.
Andy, your thoughts on the squad? When me and Ben we rolled up to a nice little Tim-style country pub with a nice flowing river next to it, weeping willows, etc. It was like being in a lovely traditional England, and we were in good mood until we saw Evans back in the side, pulling the strings, air quotes, in the central midfield. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, I think. Well, I just took the view that he was playing those three as a bit of a safety net away from home, and like I think he'll want to play Bowler or Hansen in the sort of front of those three at home games. But I took the view that it was maybe being a bit more cautious and playing Evans for that reason, really. But so Evans seemed to be the one that was sitting, didn't he, with Brown and Honeyman in front.
It was, I don't know, it was a bit strange. Who was playing the front of them? They were kind of mixing and matching. I think it's probably our downfall, but we'll come on to that. We struggled to play through the midfield throughout the game. But yeah, always a good trip to Burton, Andy. It's a nice ground to visit. Nice terrace, nice facilities. And
yeah, they're really friendly people. Really, they appreciate you going there, I think, and they're all fine with us. Every time I've been there, they've been fine with us, to be honest. So yeah, it's not the best view in the world when you're that low down, but like, look, it holds 6,000 or whatever it holds, and they can't fill. They're never going to fill that, are they? So
yeah, it's decent following.
What did we take? 1,000? Just over.
1,000. Yeah, about 1,000. Yeah. Right, let's start on the game itself. Let's come to first banner which I've put up. Strong start again. Tom, come to you. Obviously, we've started quite well on the front foot, high press, but it was intermingled with a lot of Burton set pieces and really laborious long throws, which set the tone for the game and the tone for their tactics and approach to the game.
Yeah, well, first thing you notice is the kit, isn't it? When in the warm-up, you're thinking we've got that god-awful kit on again. Yeah. So I think that's worth calling out. That's now 2 defeats, 2 very poor defeats, really, in that kit. So we don't want to see that again. I don't think many people will be queuing up to purchase that one. But that aside, yeah.
Apart from Leanne.
Yeah. So when we kicked off,
my grandson absolutely loves the kit, and like a guy behind me at the game was just going, "This bloody kit, this kit." I'm saying, "Shut up, mate, shut up."
My sister likes it as well. She's a fan. Anyway, back to the footy.
Yeah,
you won't be seeing me sporting it here in this spot. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what kit it was in the noughties. Maybe the black one when we got battered on the opening day and everyone criticised the kit on one of the hottest days. We've got a few bad kits over the years. Yeah, was it 5-0?
Yeah.
So it's got that sort of theme at the moment. But yeah, they've got to wear it a certain number of times. I'm sure we'll see it 3 or 4 more times, and we've got to hope for some better performances in it. But it shouldn't make a difference, should it? So yeah, we've kicked off, and yeah, we made a decent start to the game. I honestly thought we'd have enough quality to win that game, and that's what it looked like early on. The first chance I can remember properly was the CJ Hamilton one when he gets through. I can't actually think how far into the half that is. Maybe I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
It was about 15, Tom. It was quite early. Yeah. Okay.
So it was quite early on. And that's where you thought would really get him. That's where Everett seems to put a lot of his focus on that counter, doesn't he? And we've got such speed in attack. You got Bloxham who can hold the ball, he can hold the defender off and turn and spin and run. You got Fletcher who's got good legs on him, and then obviously CJ Hamilton. He scored goals like that where he just can outpace the defender and create space for himself, and he almost slashes it in the top corner, doesn't he? But it seemed to be under his feet a little bit, and by the time he's got it, he's given the defender a bit, an opportunity to take the ball off him, which he managed to do. So that was the main one. But we did look okay, and we were neat and tidy on the ball. I think overall the conditions were it was wet and windy, wasn't it? So you could see loose passes, bad touches. I was thinking there might be a few bookings in the game as well because everyone was struggling to keep hold of the ball, which got worse in the second half, as we'll come on to. But yeah, we looked all right for the first 15, 20. And I would have to say that Burton didn't look up to much at all, did they, for the whole first half?
That CJ, when CJ went through, he either had to cut across the defender, so the defender would have had to bundle him over for the penalty, or he had to when you got the second dibs at it,
open up and just finish it in the far corner. That's his two
or
options.
slide it across.
He ended up doing nothing, Andy. He ended up doing none of those things.
He did, and I was right behind the shot, and it was just obvious it wasn't going to do anything. But Bloxham was standing on the penalty spot, absolutely unmarked. All he had to do when he couldn't have a decent shot, just slide it across, and Bloxham was on his own.
Yeah, and
it was one of three big chances that we had in that first half.
The ball's come back to him though as well, Andy. If you remember, he could have squared it again, but he made a mess of the first chance. I mean,
yeah, he did.
To be fair, the ground was very wet, wasn't it? So the ball stuck. It got under his feet, perhaps. But you can't be throwing away chances like that, can you? Early in a game,
no.
It's really going to set the tone, isn't it? That goes in.
And you just if that goes in, we win the game. I'm convinced we win the game if that goes in, because they would have had to have come out very early, and that would have just played into our hands really.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was gutted, and I just kept saying like, I hope we just don't rue that opportunity it became amongst others in the end.
There was a
It's a great ball by Fletcher, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Superb.
It was a great ball by Fletcher from the centre circle to play CJ in. Beautiful.
There was a melee from the resulting corner as well. Bullet header from Brown just caused all sorts of problems. They've eventually managed to hack it away. But you're thinking happy days. We're on top here, and you did think a goal was going to come sooner rather than later. Next piece, banner I've titled there, Tom, was the long throw show. Mentioned it earlier. I noticed it was a theme throughout the first half that Burton were doing this long throw that I don't know why they were persisting with it, constantly headed clear. It wasn't that long. It was just there to frustrate the opposition and to actually wind the clock down and play for a draw or scrap a 1-0. I was putting my watch on the throws. They were taking 45 seconds, some of them, and the ref really should have clamped down on it because it ruined the flow of the game.
Yeah, and Everett mentioned that in his post-match, didn't he? Saying that we're going to get balls launched into the box, and that's what they're all about. So the long throw, the corners, they were crossing it whenever they could. Obviously, they've got Jake Beasley up top, so they're going to put balls in the air. It was annoying, but I think Everett's got quite a calm demeanour, hasn't he, with things like that, and he sort of, you could tell he wasn't getting frustrated by it, and he was knowing what they were up against, and they're just going to let him crack on, and we're going to defend it. And I think the three centre halves we've got, you do well to beat any of them in the air, so you probably have some strong confidence that we're going to be able to deal with balls in the box, which is what you need. It's not something we've been able to say, is it, for the last few years, with balls in the box and corners and set pieces. We've been awful, so I do have a bit more confidence in that area of our game now. We're not as easy to beat, and we're fighting for second balls, and we seem really determined at the back. So yeah, let them chuck it in the box every time, I suppose, from a long throw at least. But yeah, as we come on to, they did create one chance which we couldn't defend. But that's before the goal, I don't think I remember really them having any clear cut chances, and we seem to be pretty calm. Probably the only criticism you'd have is the keeper obviously made a couple of bad touches and gave the ball away, and Jordan Brown seemed to have a bit of an off day with his passing as well, and we seem to create our own we create the opportunities for them with our mistakes more so than them actually creating something.
Yeah.
What about the Ihekwei?
That's in my notes, Andy. I know what you're going to say.
Oh my days! What's he doing?
Ihekwei. I heard someone call him.
Look,
gives away a corner from a goal kick.
It didn't cost us, did it? At the end of the day, so fine. All's okay.
Well,
but
after
I can't say it didn't frighten me. That's for sure.
A couple of minutes after that, Fletcher failed to hold the ball up, and we just gave another corner away from another goal kick. It was a little pattern. That's right. 2 or 3 minutes. It was we weathered the storm, and it's a great point from Tom that we are a hell of a lot more resilient now with balls into the box, set pieces, etc. Yeah, it's a good shout. But Andy, I've put on the banner there, CJ bullet header. Yes, really, it was CJ getting in front of his man.
Didn't it start with Bloxham, didn't it? Around the sort of halfway line, holding his defender off and feeding Brown. Brown ran made a great run down the right, didn't he? He made 2 or 3 of those runs down the right, in amongst his very average performance. He got some space into that area when CJ could pull his defender away, if you like, and create some space. So Brown put a great cross in, didn't he? And then it was just there. CJ.
It looked in the back of the net, all ends up, didn't it? Particularly from my angle, I was just to the right of the post, there left, as you're looking at it. And I just thought, right, this is in. Great. It was a great run for him to get in front of his marker like that.
Look, he's everything you want, except putting it on target. He just, it was a very, his connection was good. He just didn't have the direction. It was, and the keeper's got no chance if that's on target. No chance.
Must have been
it
wide.
Was right by me, right by me. That and
was
you just sort of go on then, and he just didn't have the direction. Keeper's beat, no problem. But good cross by Brown, good header, apart from direction, a good bit of play by Bloxham setting up initially when they played the ball in, which is what we want off Bloxham. We're not particularly always seen that either.
There's a couple of guys there who were slagging him off, slagging Bloxham off. And like a minute later, he did that. Bloxham's been getting better and better for me, and he's really showing his worth last few games.
I agree.
So what are you on about?
I agree. Look, Saturday to me, right, would have been a great performance if we'd have stuck a couple of our chances in the first half. If we don't take our chances, we're just sitting there waiting to be beat, aren't we? And that's our next problem. That we've just got to take chances against Cardiff. We took 3, and we just not took them on Saturday. And we'll probably come on to it in a minute, but probably the best chance of the lot, to be honest. When Brown blazed over here, all he got to do, again that's right by me. There's no one in that side of the net. All he's got to do is keep it on target, literally keep it on target. And he's trying to throw his arms out afterwards and in explanation at something or other, but literally all he had to do was keep that on target.
I think it was just frustration, Andy. I think it was just frustrating with himself with what had happened. I think he knew Tom how big that chance was, and it did prove to be the case. As Andy said there, you've got to be putting chances like this away, and the 2 or 3 others.
Yeah, Jordan Brown, I can't work him out. I do like him as a player, and he gives his all, doesn't he? And he's a really good. He's probably been the best signing we've made actually since the summer in terms of his consistency of performances in the season so far. But sometimes I think, particularly on Saturday, I was getting frustrated with him, not just from this chance which he put over, but like I said before, a few misplaced passes, losing his man a couple of times. I just think he's got more quality than he's maybe shown there. So, yeah, we obviously remember the late goal he scored against Barnsley, which, you'd take him scoring that over maybe the one on Saturday, wouldn't you? So he's got a goal in him. But, yeah, a little bit Neil Bishop-like of, being a 7 out of 10, but you just want that 8 or 9 out of 10 every now and again. 7s out of 10 don't get you up the table, do they? So, I'm not criticising him by any means, but I do think he's capable of a lot better than he's maybe shown on Saturday. And it was one of his worst performances in recent weeks. But
he looks a bit like him as well. He looks a bit like Bishop.
Yeah, he's losing his hair, isn't he? I think he's only 24. He looks about 34, doesn't he?
More banning orders on the podcast than in the North Stand.
There's some weird, really weird comments coming in there. So putting time out.
Right. You did
these
right.
oddballs are. Speaking of oddballs, Andy, one oddball moment that we've not talked about in the first half was involved Lee Evans. See if you can cast your mind back to what I'm talking about. A side foot into the. When he side-footed it into the hoardings from 6 or 7 yards out, but it was you explain it. You tell the listeners and explain.
Well, the ball's come to hit it on his left foot, and every man and his dog, even if you've got a swinger there, whizzes it with your left foot and hopes for the best, right? And if memory serves me right, not that long ago, did he not score with his left foot going across the keeper at home in the south?
I don't know what this was. Was it a cross? Was it a shot or was it a pass?
No, it was.
Did he know where? Did he know where he was? Did he know which way the goal was?
It was definitely a shot, but the trouble is, he put it into the net that we practiced in before the game instead of the net that was set up for the game. Oh God! It's just like I just thought, what's he? Is it? Everyone's sitting there, standing there, looking around, going, "What's he done that for?"
It was a comedic moment, actually. To be fair, it made everyone was aghast to start with, and then everyone just started laughing after that. Yeah, it's funny. But
just hit it with your left foot and be done with it. We'd probably got a bloody ricochet and gone in or something.
Speaking of laughs, I think when one of their players was down getting a bit of treatment, the keeper was having a bit of banter back and forth with the crowd. Collins doing kick-ups and stuff. He was I liked him because he was trying to have a laugh with the Blackpool fans, but there was some guys near me, I think younger lads, they were properly giving him like really serious abuse and really, really obscene comments like your mum and cum and things like that. And I just thought it was really aggressive and it was totally out of order because he was all right, you know.
All right. Yeah, he was.
He was trying to have a laugh and you get knobheads like that.
I mean, things like the Pink Panther and he was getting called and things like that. He was fine with it. He was great. He was just, I think he was a bit miffed by some of the hateful stuff that was being, because he wasn't bad really.
No, he was a decent, having a good laugh, and you get some real venomous comments from people. It's completely out of order, I thought. So I didn't like to hear it, but you know, having a proper go at him like that, he's obviously had the last laugh, hasn't he? As well,
spurred him on.
Yeah. So
ridiculous.
Next time, I think someone called them virgins on AVFTT. I thought that was a good description of them.
Look, to be fair, straight away as soon as he came down our end, he was happy to interact with the crowd, and he was enjoying him. He was trying to enjoy his game. I think. Yeah,
fair play to him for fronting it up, coming up in a full pink kit as well. He must have thought, "Oh shit, what have you put me in here?" To the kit man. Yeah.
When we see him in Blackpool Pride, we'll know where he came from.
Second half, Andy, I just thought it was a quite amusing moment. There was a substitute for Burton. Substitutes are brought to you by Dave's Accountants on the Tannoy. I thought that's right. We're at a place like Burton. You don't hear that at some of the top grounds like Anfield and Grice's funeral director. That'd have been even better.
No,
but Tom, the pattern of the Burton play continued really in the first stages of the second half. A lot of long balls into the box and more time wasting long throws. Again, it was an effort to frustrate us, and I think it did frustrate Blackpool in that second half.
Yeah, you're just begging for a bit of quality in the game, aren't you, when it gets like that? I thought we'd have enough, and we couldn't show that quality. We seemed to drop to their level. There's bad, wet conditions. Everything's against you, and they're gonna play into that a little bit with the long throws, the time wasting, picking up fouls, just frustrating us basically because they know that they haven't got anything, or we've got more than them in terms of quality in the squad. So it was annoying. You're sort of waiting for that moment that we're going to create something, but we seem to get a bit frustrated with ourselves and let that whole circus sort of play into our hands a little bit. So we get frustrated. We start trying bad decisions, long field passes. I don't know if Everett was famous for his putting the ball up in the air for Luke Varney and so on back in the day, wasn't he? So I don't know if that's part of his game plan to loft the ball out wide and then we win the knockdowns. But I noticed a lot of that, and I think Lee Evans punted it out of play. And I think Horsfall was guilty of it as well, trying to play a little bit too adventurous and going over the top, and the ball's just running out because it's so wet. So you've got no chance of creating anything. And I know that Everett was getting frustrated on the sideline watching some of that as well, when he's obviously encouraged him to get the ball down and start playing out from the back and building with, I think he calls it possession with purpose, doesn't he? Which is a little bit wanky, but he goes for it. But generally, yeah, you want to see quality, you want to see confidence that we're going to create something, and you want to come with a plan. It was very much a League One game full of a lack of quality, bad decisions, and silly errors sometimes where we're just maybe not quite got that confidence in the process of what we're trying to do, and we're a little bit, we've only won one game in the league. Is it what?
Two.
Is it
Two on the trot.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Peterborough and Cardiff.
So it's still early. Peterborough wasn't a great performance against bottom of the league, so it's one good performance really. So I'm still confident in what we're doing, and it's just a knockback, isn't it? But I think it is a sign of where we're at, where a little bit of adversity, and we didn't quite have enough about us to roll our sleeves up and go, right, let's start playing, let's show what we've got, and let's have a bit of quality in this game, particularly in the conditions, which I really don't think helped the quality of the game.
Andy, Tom's mentioned long balls there. I think it was a difference to the first half where there was errors, particularly coming from Ramsoli and the back three. I don't think the back three trusted him to play back to him, to play out, and I think it's been a conscious decision that's been made to go long, because we were going to concede one sooner or later had we continued in that vein.
I think that's fair. And I think we are still trying to evolve under Everett, and we're
work in progress, aren't we?
Yeah. And this team before Everett came looked like they got no confidence, and bar probably an hour against Cardiff, maybe an hour of that game where we looked better, or even second half, you could argue, where we looked a bit better. We still look like we're searching for that confidence to go and play. That's for sure. It's not going to happen overnight.
It's not. It doesn't help with it. Leon Evans getting his customary booking either. Bit of a silly one again. Silly one again, and he was lucky to be on the pitch, in my opinion. If you saw the flying elbow, not long after it.
Yeah, he's he just feels like an accident waiting to happen every time. Every week, you could virtually put your house on him getting booked, couldn't you? Just make some ridiculous challenges, and comes down to the fact that I think when he first came, that we all thought he was great. When he first came, he had a real purple patch, looked very good, but since halfway through last season, he's not looked anything like the player that we saw then, and still doesn't. Look very disappointed to be taken off, didn't he? When we brought Hansen on,
well, he had to be brought off, or he was going to get removed by the ref.
Yeah, agreed. But he threw his arms up in disappointment at being substituted. But you're right, and we had to try and unlock the game, didn't we? By bringing Hansen on, we had to try and unlock the game, but actually, it became a downfall of us, because like Hansen was Hansen didn't trap the runner back, did he? For the lead up to their goal.
Talk us through it, Tom.
And that left us exposed.
Yeah,
it left us exposed.
Yeah, just one point before coming on to the goal. I think Albie Morgan's the one that we're missing, and I was trying to think who we're missing from that midfield, but it's Morgan, isn't it? That's still 4 weeks away. So I think someone like that with a bit more, like I've said before, possession with purpose. That's Albie Morgan, isn't it? Purpose. He's got the quality. He can play deep, but he can also attack. He's got goals in him. So it's a shame we didn't have him available. When you've lost Bowler as well, it's a lot of creativity gone, and all of a sudden you've got. Now you think about it, you got Evans, Honeyman, and Brown. There's not much. It's a very industrious midfield, isn't it? But there's not much quality in there. I know we love Honeyman and he works hard, but he would never be. He would accept that he's made it probably to a higher level just from his determination rather than his quality. Whilst he's a good footballer at this level, Brown was on an off day, and then Evans, he looks like he's lost a yard of pace to me. Evans, even since he came in, I think he's 31 now. So then I think his contract's up in the summer, and I would be surprised if he's playing for his next season, to be honest. But one of them who's always going to get a booking and always going to have a pass where he's sliding it out of play unintentionally. But we come to the goal. Go on.
So saying the decline of Evans reminds me a bit of Jordan Rhodes. Remember how good he was when we first signed him, and the steady decline. The yard of pace has gone, and he's got to be moved on in January for me.
I think because he looked good because he was replacing Norburn as well, and we were all saying, "Oh, this is what we wanted from Norburn," but that doesn't mean he was good. That just means he was better than Norburn, which was a pretty low bar to start with. So we've still never had that. I think we've been after a proper centre midfielder since we missed out on, dare I mention it, Brannigan about 4 or 5 years ago. So we've still not filled that position, have we? We're still in need of a proper defensive midfielder. But maybe Jordan Brown's that man if we can start 2 attackers in front of him. But Evans does look like he's run his race a little bit at the moment. But we'll come on to the goal then. It's movement down the right, wasn't it? And they seemed to just get in behind our defence and crossed it in. And to be fair to Beasley, it's a decent header. It looked like I was obviously watching it on telly rather than being in the ground, but it looked like a goal when it was in the air, sort of thing. It was quite an easy header. But
the problem was Hansen didn't track the runner, so the guy who Ashworth was marking came inside and created the extra man outside, which is the runner that Hansen should have tracked. And so that meant Casey had to go out to the touchline. And as soon as he went out there, you're thinking, you straight away, like when you're at the game, you see it straight away. Casey got dragged out to the touchline, and then, of course, they knock it in. Then we're not quite in the setup that we thought we were. We would have been had the right things happened, and Casey would have been covering the near post, and Horsfall would have covered. And I think Horsfall got stuck between 2 stools of covering the near post and the middle. And it, as Dave Hart said there, poor marking, but it was caused because of the initial problem was Hampson not tracking the runner.
So we should have kept Lee Evans on then.
Well, wait, would he track the runner?
No, I don't think so. Let's talk about Beasley's celebration, Andy, because Beasley was getting. It wasn't. Some people saying he was getting shit. Not from where I stood. He wasn't. He was just getting his normal bees shout.
He got a few. I felt he got a few boos, John. To be honest, not particularly loads. Just a few boos from the first couple of 3 or 4 touches he had, and he didn't have many touches first half, did he?
Very well.
He hardly touched it, and so he had a few boos. And I think maybe it came from that. But personally, I got no beef with him leaving. He's left to play football. He's got regular game time at Burton. Good on him. He's probably not on massive wages. And, I was pretty vanilla about it all, to be honest with him.
I wasn't. I
No. I think before his celebration.
Oh, right. What about the celebration then?
Yeah. I didn't, and then as soon as he made the celebration, then obviously life changes, doesn't it? Yeah. Good luck when you come to Bloomfield Road now.
Yeah. Elbows just said, "Don't blame him for celebrating." No, neither do I. I don't.
No.
Celebrate your goal. Celebrate your goal. Celebrate your goal with your own fans.
The way he did it.
Don't goad it in front of all the Blackpool fans. I mean,
it's fine.
I think absolutely bang out of order. I think we've been very fair to Jake Beasley for the amount of goals that he scored for us. I've just looked at his career. He scored 10 goals for us in 60 games. After we paid decent money for him from Rochdale, he only scored once for us last season in the league in 22 games. And I think we've been very good to him. We've given him his little cameo with the kit launches, and he's been a bit of a laugh, a bit of a
cult hero almost,
yeah,
wasn't he?
bit of a cult hero almost, whilst having a very average return. And I think he's bang out of order for misplacing that, for sort of betraying our trust and relationship, really, by celebrating and goading us because he's been released, which is obviously what's happened in the summer. Nothing to do with the fan base. We'd given him a good welcome. He'd have got a good welcome at Bloomfield Road. And I think he's just tarnished that whole thing now by celebrating the way he did. And I don't think it was really right what he did. From his perspective, you can understand why he's done it. He's probably a little bit sour about the way it's ended at Blackpool, and maybe felt he could have added something in the summer, and maybe thought he might get a new contract. So now he's thinking, great, I've scored against my old club, but yeah, you've only got 4,000 home fans. Go and celebrate in front of them. And I'm not very happy about that, to be honest.
I wasn't.
His career today, it's probably the highlight of his career, actually, what's happened on Saturday, because he only scored a couple of goals in the Championship. He's only played a handful of games at that level, and most of the rest of his career has been in non-league. So don't get ahead of yourself, Jake. Enjoy the goal, and you'll probably score another handful before the end of the season. But yeah, he's done for me now.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to his return to Bloomfield Road. Like you said, Tom, would have got a good reception, would have had everyone's best wishes, but for him to do that, I hope he gets a hostile reception when he comes back to Bloomfield Road. Knobhead. Right, wonder saves, Andy.
But the Pink Panther.
What's that?
The Pink Panther.
The Pink Panther
had his revenge.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Yeah.
Casey off the lines on 80, switched to a 4-4-2. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with Casey. I don't think there is, from what Evo said. In between that, Ravizoli giving the ball away under zero pressure. When we've hit 90, the board's gone up, 77 minutes to go. We're thinking, get in. Ravizoli can't just play a simple pass. We lose a lot of time, extra time to get back into the game, which annoyed me at the time greatly. But we've had two absolute fabulous chances to get on level terms in the dying embers of the game.
Yeah, Bloxham was the first one, wasn't he? Bloxham sort of picked the ball up on the edge of the area, didn't he? Sort of twisted and then just tried to play it over the top of the keeper, didn't he? And he's flicked it over. And then was it the resulting corner? Ashworth, near post, flick on header. See him go in so many times. But he was man on the spot again, wasn't he? Flicked it over again. The Pink Panther. Good on it. Well, is it two decent saves, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, it does well to save from Bloxham. I think that was, you can't be critical of Bloxham at all. I think with the header, maybe it's probably a harsh criticism, but I'd say maybe from that distance, you've got to be hitting the corners, and it was straight out the keeper. So he's made a good save, and the keeper's in the right place. But if he heads it anywhere else, then it's a goal, isn't it? So unfortunately, it dropped to Ashworth and not, Fletcher or Bloxham or someone like that with a bit more of an attacking instinct. But yeah, it's a good save. More often than not, you probably see that go in with the pace that it was headed in at. But he's a good keeper. He's obviously played a lot of Championship games. I remember him at Barnsley. I know he's had a move to Coventry, so he's out on loan there. So probably someone we should be keeping an eye on, to be honest with you, with our keeper situation with the loan of Peacock Farrell, which hasn't been particularly, not something we've all particularly enjoyed this season too much. So we might be in the market for a keeper sooner than later.
I think we've got to be, Tom. After the game, I was saying we need a new left wing back, we need a new keeper, we need a new centre mid. That's the three positions on my shopping list. And like I said, Ravizoli, who on earth has signed a keeper who can't play a straight pass or control a ball properly or pass it properly? It's just mind-boggling that we've signed a keeper with that such ability.
It's annoying, isn't it? Because Harry Tyra, we've all sort of encouraged him last season, and he was one of the bright sparks from last year where he started really poorly, but we've really got behind him, and that's what Bloomfield Road's great for in bringing young players through and letting them make mistakes and learn from them, and then suddenly being on the top of the game. He's sat at home every weekend now, not getting any game time, and
but that was him, Tom. That was Harry Tyra.
Yeah.
That was Harry Tyra. He could have come to us in the summer. We offered him, but I'm led to believe anyway. I'm led to believe that we were scouting what the opinion was of making him an offer, and he wanted to hold out because he thought he was going to get a championship club because of how well he did last year. And when I spoke to Steve Banks towards the end of last season, Steve Banks said there's no chance we're going to get Tyra for next year because he's done too well. He's actually done too well in the second half of the season. And so consequently, it's not worked out for him, has it? So will he get a championship club, or will he just have to come down to League One again? Or
well, that's the trouble.
We're not going to sign 2 on loan keepers, are we?
No.
We're not. There's no chance.
There's only 43, 44 spots in the top 2 divisions for keepers. So you're either sat on the bench, which how many keepers do you see having a full career basically sitting on the bench, or you're trying to you go for it when you get a championship move like Grimshaw's done, and he's ended up at Norwich. I don't know if he's playing or not, but probably won't have a long career there. And he's 27, 28 now, and he's probably played 100 first-team appearances. The same with this lad on Saturday that we were just talking about, Collins at Burton. Like he's of a championship standard, and he's had to drop down a division to get games. So it's a tough market, isn't it, for a keeper? So yeah. Tyra's gone a whole season. He might get a loan in January, but if he makes the wrong move now, he's on the bench somewhere. And then, he'll be 24 next month. So he wants to start kicking on now and getting games. So I don't think you should, if you've got a chance to go and play games, you've got to take it, haven't you? And hopefully we'll be in for someone like that, because Everett will want his own men in, won't he? He'll want to make a few changes in January. So I'd imagine the keeper situation might resolve itself. But yeah, hopefully it will be Tyra, or I'm sure there's others available. But yeah, I agree. It probably needs sorting sooner rather than later.
I think Everett will already have his shopping list on the go, I think.
Maybe Brad Collins is on that. The Burton keeper, Brad Collins, might be on the list. 8.6 on the Football rating, star man of the match. If you look at the general match stats there, gents, 3 big chances missed for Blackpool. Put your positive hat on there. We created the best chances. 2 absolute worldies from a keeper. CJ flashing one wide, Brown blazing over CJ in the first half. We should have really won that game. We haven't. We've lost it, but it's good that we're creating so many chances in a game that we've not been played particularly well in. But we should have won, really, based on that.
Yeah, we've not got enough points on the board to be looking at those positives, have we, either? Because the games are running out now. We're getting towards the halfway stage, and we're still in the relegation zone. I'm not thinking of a relegation fight, but it'd be nice to be above the line, wouldn't it, than below it? So I think we need to start turning the draws into wins and the losses into draws sooner rather than later, and getting some points on the board. So, it's 6 from 3 under Everett. That's in line with the rest of his career. He sort of wins 50% of his games, doesn't he, Everett? So if we do that from now to the end of the season, we'll be up there. We'll be higher than we are now. But we need to turn it around now. I think we've got Leyton Orient Saturday, and then there's another winnable game in there at home as well.
Reading,
yeah. So the next 2 are both winnable, and then I think it's a case of seeing where we can get to for Christmas. I think with a positive hat on, I think obviously 75-ish is playoffs. I think as an absolute minimum, it needs to be 28, 29 at the halfway stage, which is New Year's Day. So I think I was working it out the other day. We need to win 4 or 5 out of the next 7 or 8 games to be at the absolute minimum of any chance of a playoff run in the second half of the season. Maybe that's getting ahead of yourself, but if you're not got any hope, then what are you watching the game for? That's what we're all wanting as football fans, isn't it? So yeah, let's hope we win the next couple, or at least 2 out of the next 3 or 4, and we just start to get ahead of these sides. Leyton Orient, Burton, Reading. We should be above all of them by the time we've played them all. So yeah, reason to be optimistic, like you say, John. But we need to start getting points on the board any way we can.
I think we've Everett said we can't get too high during the highs and we can't get too low during the lows, and that's not us as football fans, is it? We fling from outright exhilaration after Cardiff to the depths after Burton, and that's not what, we don't do that. But like, I do get what he's saying, to be fair. I do get what he's saying, and like, I believe that he's going to put us in a far better place than Bruce was, and let's give him the time to do that. And we are going to have some really bad moments during this time, but let's hope we get some really good ones as well.
I'm just looking forward to the January window where he can shape his team with some of his own players as well, mix it up with what's there already. So
hopefully,
yeah. Okay, let's just quickly do player ratings for the Burton game. This should be quite interesting. We'll do these quickly around the room. Andy, you can have Ravizoli, because I think you saw the cock-ups, misplaced passes, Ravizoli in the flash.
5 pieces of ravioli.
Without
the sauce
on. Yeah. 5 pieces of dry ravioli. The Grice replayer rating system with food, like it. Tom, Ollie Casey came off after 85, thankfully not injured. So I just think he did.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about the FPRS in recent weeks is nobody's using the minus often enough. So I'm going to throw a few minuses in this week just to reiterate the importance of the pluses and minuses in this system. But I'm not going to give one to Casey. I'm going to go with a solid 7 because I don't think he put much wrong. He won a lot of headers in the air, but we've lost the game. And he's been, if we're being critical, he's been involved in that. He's failed to stop it. So he can't go any higher than a 7 when you've lost the game.
Give him a 7 minus then. Throw a minus in. Andy, Fraser Horsfall, a rock as well at the back. We did mention we look a lot more comfortable defending set pieces. I think he's one of the major reasons why.
Yeah, I think he's going to be 7+ for Horsfall. Although you might say he's at fault for the goal. You might, but I don't think it was that. I think it was caused by Casey getting dragged out, and that put us out of position, and Beasley took advantage. But there we go.
Okay.
Is that? Do you disagree, John? Your face.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Andy. Yeah, I think that's fair. Ihekwei, Tom.
Yeah, maybe it's just my memory that only I remember this. I don't know if it's something that lives long in many others' memory, but I was thinking back to the own goal that I remember from this pass. What I'm trying to say is it reminded me of Chris Clark against QPR in 2002 live on Sky, if anyone remembers that, when he's put the ball past Phil Barnes for us to go 2-0 down in front of national coverage. There was shades of Chris Clark, unfortunately, in Ihekwei, which is not someone you want to be referencing too often in a Blackpool shirt. But overall, he's looking a lot better in recent weeks, isn't he? He was pretty shaky early on, but a lot better in recent weeks. However, not one of his final ones on Saturday. We'll go with a 6+.
Andy, you've got Lee Evans.
Great.
The Grice Reaper.
No, not one of his great fans, I'm afraid.
Take a point off for that side foot into the sidings. Think of a number and take a point off for that.
Just don't see how he makes us better. I like someone said, he played well against Scunthorpe. Maybe that's because of the level. 5.
5, yeah, that was in my head. Okay, let's go the wing backs. Tom, Zach Ashworth, another solid performance. A slight criticism for me. We were struggling on the left-hand side. I think an area they looked to exploit. Not his fault because he's not a left wing back, is he? But we had a lack of options going up forward on the left-hand side. But he was solid apart from that. Yeah,
I like him, Ashworth, and I'm really surprised that he went out on loan last season. I don't know what's gone on there where we signed him, and then did Critchley sign him, but then Bruce came in and loaned him out, something like that. But really weird when you think about it when he's come in because he looks good every time he plays. So yeah, I like him and I liked him on Saturday. To be honest, he doesn't give you as much as Coulson going forward, but he's worth it because he's a lot more balanced footballer and he's better defensively and he's good in the air. You fancy him going into challenges. He's strong, isn't he? So he's pretty good and he nearly scored. If he'd have scored that equaliser late on, you're giving him 9s, aren't you? But you can't quite go that far. I think I'll go for an 8+.
Yeah, that's fair. Andy, CJ, you're getting them all today. 200th appearance, unlucky with a bullet header, but got to be scoring or creating a goal.
You have to balance between him getting into good positions and then doing some of the CJ things that he does. He infuriates you and delights you in not in quite equal measure.
Yeah, the delights don't come round that often as well.
They don't. I mean, 5+.
6 minus, I'm thinking. 5+. Yeah.
5+, 6 minus. I don't think we're too far away. He should have squared to Bloxham or scored with that first one. He should have scored with the header. Should have
squared the second ball when it came to him as well. Didn't. Should have scored the header.
Yeah. I'll stick with me 5+.
George Honeyman, Tom, not one of his best games despite a lot of effort.
I'm trying to think, really. I don't really remember seeing much of him. I can't think of much that he's done in the game, which is
dragged down by Evans, I think. It was weird because you didn't know which was playing as the forward of the three or which was playing. I think there was a lack of communication between all three of them.
Yeah. He's captain as well, and you need more from your captain. Those types of games when it's a case of getting the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's why you're looking to Honeyman to sort of pick the game up and work hard and show it what you've got. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. Don't know if he's unfit still and getting back into the game, but yeah, I didn't see much of him enough to say anything other than 6-.
Yeah,
the game wasn't a midfield game, was it? For a lot of that game, because they just
could not play through it, could we?
Defending long balls and then having to get it up and then just they were picking the ball up. Then weren't we?
It's a puzzle we need to, or Everton needs to work out how to play against teams like this, and we always seem to fall short against teams like this. So I'm sure Everton will do his best to unpick the situations in the future.
One thing I'll say about Honeyman, I like his shirt tucked into his shorts, and he wears his shorts quite high up, doesn't he? It's a bit old-fashioned, so he gets an extra half mark for that. But yeah, not much else to shout about.
And being a Geordie, I like Geordies. Jordan Brown and the passing radar off once again.
Yeah, not a good day for Jordan, I'm afraid. Really, best I can offer him is a 5. The good crossing for the CJ header. The best I can offer him is a 5. I think he's tried. He was trying hard. He was trying hard. Honestly, he was. I watched him for a couple of minutes. Like he's trying to get around the pitch. He was trying to create some space, but not in that position that he cannot. I don't think he can play that position. I think he's more useful to us as a holding midfielder and letting Honeyman run off, and then the more attractive players with a bowler, whether it be a bowler, Hanson, Banks, or whoever we decide to play in that hole behind the strikers.
Not a right back, Andy.
Well, Beasley tried right side, left side, down the middle and everything when he was with us, didn't he?
Callum Connolly, left wing back. Remember that?
Oh, why? Yeah. Callum Connolly, yeah. He tried everything. Yeah.
Right, Tom, Ash Fletcher, great through ball for CJ chance, but a bit anonymous apart from that.
Yeah, he didn't really get many chances. Yeah, he works hard. He's less chaotic than he was maybe in parts of last season. You can tell he's got a lot more confidence back, and he's got some quality, hasn't he, Fletcher? You could definitely say that. He's had 7 million quid spent on him in his career, and that may be a little bit eyebrow raising, but he's been a good servant to us and he's a good player. And I'd rather have him in the side than not, which is saying a lot when you think of our stronger side having Taylor and Ennis fit. I don't know who I'd have alongside him, but he'd be up there, wouldn't he? Probably. But yes, not one of his better games. I'll go for a 6+.
Finally, Tom, Bloxham, Andy, a lot of industry. As ever, he's getting fitter with every game, said this last pod, and I really like the way he's puts himself about in games, despite some idiots slagging him off near me, saying he's made of glass. Made of glass, he's lasting every game now, so God knows what they're on about. But yeah, his overall performance and score.
Going to hold the ball really well to feed Brown on the CJ chance. He's good. Like he's getting better. He's getting better, and like he's running and running and running. And if we don't create chances for people that are making runs, Fletcher looked bereft at various times this season as he's peeled off and made runs for no one to find him. And if we keep having these attackers that are making runs and they don't find them, then they just get fed up and running in the end. But he's worked hard. I think he's definitely getting better, and hopefully we'll see the best of him soon. 6+.
Yes.
And I agree with Bison's that the defense were very good. The defense were very good. It's just you find it hard to give 8s and 9s when we've lost the game, don't you? Yeah. But I do agree. I do agree that the defense in the main were very good.
Okay, closing thoughts before we go. Orient up Richard Ellen's back at Bloomfield Road on
away
Saturday.
It's away, isn't it?
Sorry, away, yeah. How's that going to go?
I've got confidence in a way, I suppose. I fancy Everett to do one over Wellens. I think he's a better manager and he's a bit more. I was going to call him a wily old fox. He's only 43, isn't he? But he's got more games in his career than Wellens, just about. And I think he's a more tactically astute manager. Wellens is always extra up for this one, though, isn't he? So he'll have something to say. And Jordan Brown's going back to his old club as well, which is worth mentioning. So he'll be wanting to put in a good performance there. I do fancy us for a narrow win. I think we could do with better conditions. I don't think it suited us having wet and windy conditions. So sounds bizarre, but if it stays dry, I do fancy us to get the ball down and play a lot better football. I think Orient are a better side than Burton with the ball as well, which might actually help us out and play into our hands.
Yeah, I think we do tend to play better against better sides compared to spoilers.
Exactly, and Orient are surprisingly lower down than they probably should be, the 16th in the league. So, whilst you say that, Burton are 12th, so that says a lot about the state of the division at the moment. But there's not much, is there, between, we're a bit adrift, we're a couple of points behind Exeter, but if we get a win or a couple of wins back to back, suddenly you're 9th, aren't you, in the league with Mansfield. So it's really tight at the moment. We could just do with getting the points on the board, but yeah. Hopefully, it's a narrow victory, and I fancy us for a win. How are we doing for injuries as well? I think there's a couple on the verge of coming back. Maybe Hayden Coulson might be fit for the weekend, and then I think
Jimmy Husband's almost. I think Husband's nearly back as well. He's back on the grass apparently.
So if you're getting a couple of those back every couple of games, then we're looking better, aren't we, as we're getting towards the winter fixtures?
Hopefully,
Imre's back after that, and that'll be. I think Imre will be the key coming back.
Yeah,
that will be a massive difference.
Agreed.
When we get him.
Well, you'd say Ennis, Morgan, and Imre are probably our best 3 players, aren't they? If you line them all up and said who's the best players we've got in our squad, I'd probably go for them 3, and they're all out at the moment. So we've got plenty to come back. I think Ennis is the most exciting one because he's a striker, and I fancied him to get 20 league goals this season, but I think he's at least 4, 5, 6 weeks away yet. But yeah, hopefully Imre's back soon. We need all the help we can get, don't we? But I do fancy us on Saturday.
It's a must not lose for me.
I'd take a point, Andy. I'd quite be happy with a point. Win would be great, but yeah, just don't lose the game. Take a point and we regroup.
I'm with you. And like, look, I want to go and win. We want to go and win and get 3 points. We need 3 points, but if we got a point, I wouldn't be overly disappointed. But I really think it's a must not lose.
Yeah, I agree. Right, I think we'll leave it there, gents. We're on an hour, and Nick would be pleased had he been on an hour on the nose. We did say 45 minutes, but as ever, you just can't keep it to those small numbers when there's always so much to talk about with the Blackpool game. Right, we'll be coming back after the Orient game. Thanks ever so much to Tom and Andy for coming on, giving us their thoughts. Thanks for everybody in the comments. Not as many people as are on usually. It's always the case when we lose, but we've been the hardcore. We've showed up and we've taken our medicine, haven't we? And yeah, do like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Just help the channel. If you want to join our Patreon supporter program, patreon.com/SeasidersPod. That'd be very appreciated. And thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. And up the pool. Go on the pool.
Up the pool. Come on.
Been involved in 2. Can he make 3? Not on this occasion. Well taken by Walsh. Davis is on the far side. Ainscough coming square. That's the ball. That's a good try. What a goal! Oh!